Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are standing here with Paul Cavalier, who just won a nationally qualifying show, came in second place, which qualifies him for a chance at a pro card, right? Is that how that works? Tell us how that works a little bit.
Right, so you do a regional show. If you take first or second place in the open class, you then qualify for a national show. And once you compete in the national show, if you take first or second place again, then you actually get your pro card, and then you're at the pro level.
What division did you do that in?
I was in men's physique.
Men's physique?
Yes.
Okay.
Men's physique, if a lot of you guys don't know, that's the one who wears the board shorts compared to classic physique when you have the shorter black shorts, and then bodybuilding where you're in like the man thong banana hammock per se.
Okay, in this interview, guys, we're going to try something a little bit different. Instead of just doing a standard Q&A where we just talk about what he did as a static type of thing, we're going to actually ask him how he did his program in a way that you might be able to use yourself to get really, really lean and then recomp at the same time. Okay?
Yep.
All right, that's good. Okay, so this was your second show, right?
It was.
What happened in your first show?
My first show, it was around, I was 24. I'm 26 years old now, so about 2 years ago. I wasn't set on doing a show. Before that, I was at about 20, I really started working out seriously. A couple of my friends they compete, they finally told me just do a show. So I didn't really have an off season per se. It was pretty much like I was just training to train, more for like a healthy lifestyle. And then I decided to go right into prep. Right. So I did the prep. I started working with a coach, did a 20-week prep. It's a little bit of a lean bulk. Then I went down to the cutting. My first show, it didn't turn out how I wanted to.
Right.
I think I placed 8 out of 10, I want to say.
Okay.
I got the good experience, good feedback from the judges. But,
you got up there, which is good.
I knew that I was going to come back. I was going to have a full off season and come back stronger. My goal was to place, if not nationally qualify.
Okay, now for your second show, you switched coaches, you said?
I did. My first coach, it wasn't anything he did. It's not like there was like bad blood or anything like that. I just, my coach now, his name's Jim Diola. He's with Freeform Nutrition. Okay. Him and I talked after my first show. He said, when you're ready, he's like, enjoy the summer. When you're ready to get into a lean bulk, talk to me. So that's what I did. He got me on a different program. So I did about 20 to 24 weeks with him. My show was June 8th of 2019. It was South Jersey Championships. I went to that show. I accomplished my goal. Not only I placed, I took second place in the open class, so I did get my national qualification.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's get down to nuts and bolts. Okay, how much did you weigh walking into your prep?
Walking into prep, I was about 200. I started a bulking phase. In that bulking phase, I got up almost to 211, 212 pounds.
Okay. When you walked on stage, what did you weigh?
I walked on stage at about 175.
Okay. I'm kind of thinking, I'm hallucinating here that the average person would look amazing around 3 or 4 weeks out from the show.
Right.
Okay.
That's when I think I looked, not my best, but I was full.
Right.
I still had energy. I was still having pretty great pumps in the gym.
Right.
But
what did you weigh there?
There I was about 185.
Okay, so from the time that you finished bulking to, say, 3 weeks out, that was 12 weeks, 15 weeks? 12 weeks, 13 weeks?
About that, maybe 15, 16 weeks.
Okay, so you dropped from the 210 to 185, which is what, 35 pounds?
Right.
Okay, let's talk about how you did that and still came in looking full.
It was just about losing 1 to 2 pounds per week and just not overdoing it. Right. Just going in, hitting my cardio, hitting my meals, hitting my macros, and just slowly dropping that weight so no muscle was lost.
Okay, well, let's start with the food. You told me that your coach, instead of just giving you a total list of calories, gave you basically the breakdown of macros, which is another way of giving you calories.
Right.
How much protein, carbs, fat did you start doing in the beginning?
So in the beginning, my protein was probably around 280. My carbs were high. What my coach does, he does carb cycling. Right. So for 2 to 3 days, you're on a moderate amount of carbs. Then you have what's called depletion days, which are probably 2 of the worst days of the week, to be honest. It's tough. He drops your carbs substantially, and in those 2 depletion days, you're doing full body depletion workouts. Mm-hmm. And in those workouts, you're pretty much training from your shoulders all the way down to your legs, your calves. Your cardio elevates a little bit because what that's doing is that's pushing all those carbs out of your body and kind of essentially draining that water.
Now, on your days of your moderate carbs, about how many grams of carbs was it?
When it was still, I had some time before
Right.
the show. I would say moderate carbs. I was probably at about 185 to 200.
Okay, and then the low carb days were about.
Low carb days, when I was still had some time out, they would probably go down to like 95, 100, maybe 125.
Okay, how often did you refeed?
Refeeds were once a week. They were Saturday,
Okay.
best day of the week. I enjoyed waking up Saturday morning. I would always have to hit my fasted cardio in the morning.
Okay.
And then as soon as I got home, I would get a bag of the Kodiak pancakes. And that was,
Right.
I would make those. I would eat a whole box of those because on average, on my refeed days, I was doing about 1,000 to 1,200 carbs.
Right. Now, over time, see, we're talking about like over 12 weeks, did your calories or macros start dropping?
They did.
Okay.
I would say each week, almost maybe 2 weeks, they would slowly start to drop.
Carbs too, or did they stay fairly constant?
Carbs, they would start to drop, yeah.
Okay. Now you were saying like in terms of like how much protein were you doing now?
Protein was always at about 300. Protein
Okay.
was high, but
And that stayed pretty steady throughout.
that stayed pretty steady, yeah.
Okay. You were talking about fasted cardio. So all throughout your prep, you did fasted cardio every morning?
Yes.
About
Every morning, I would say I'd get to the gym around 6:30 because I had to be at work at around 7:30, 7:45.
Right.
So that would give me enough time to get in the gym. I would always do an ab and lower back circuit, and then I would jump on the treadmill or jump on the elliptical, whichever my plan had me doing that week.
Right. Now, as you got farther into your program, say 8 weeks in or 10 weeks in, do you start doing cardio twice a day, or did the duration increase or anything like that?
Some towards closer to the show, I would have fasted cardio, and then I would have to do like 15, 20, maybe like 25 minutes of post-workout cardio.
Okay.
But it was never too extreme post-workout.
Okay, when you first started prepping, what did your weight training program look like?
When I first started prep, I was doing a lean bulk.
Right.
So my macros were elevated, and he was just having me hit the weights hard.
Right.
Heavy weight, trying to build as much size before I actually go into my cutting phase.
When you started into your cutting phase, how did your weight training look?
Weight training was still pretty similar. My coach was very big on hitting your working sets and hitting like the highest weight possible.
Right.
So you're still challenging yourself. You're still pushing that blood into your muscles. So
okay. Now you noted that you did depletion workouts. Those were different than your work sets, your regular workouts?
they were. The reps did go up a little bit,
Right.
but I was still pushing heavy weight.
So-
At least as heavy as possible.
So how many times a week were you actually physically pushing weight?
6 days a week.
Oh, 6 days a week. You're okay.
6 days a week I was training. 7 days a week I was doing cardio.
Right.
The only time I wasn't actually pushing weight was on my refeed day. That was my rest day per se.
When did you find it started? If it did, when did you find it started getting more difficult mentally to keep lowering your calories like that, or keep?
I would say once I hit about the 4 to 5 week mark, that's when it started to get a little bit challenging. For those of you who haven't been in an actual show prep, it's a constant like battle with your mind because you want to make sure you're ready on time. You're constantly looking at yourself. You're like, oh, I'm holding water in my lower abs,
Right.
or I'm holding water in my obliques, this and that. So that's a constant battle, but it's just, you just got to trust your coach and trust the process and know that by the time you wake up show morning, you're going to be dry to a bone, ready to get on stage. So.
Did you have any tips for when people get to the point where they feel like I just can't do this. I just don't want to not eat.
You just have to know you're paying a coach.
Yeah.
You're paying for all the food. You're paying
Right.
for all your supplements. So you just need to know you have to be very strong-willed. You have to be strong-minded.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have obstacles along the way. Your friends are going to want to go out. They're going to want to go out to eat. But you just have to just think about why you started. Think about how you're going to look on stage. I mean, there's not a better feeling than once you get out on stage, you throw your poses.
Right.
You have people cheering for you, your friends. You got your war paint tan on, like you're ready to go. So, I mean, yeah, do some people cheat during prep? They do. But me personally, say I cheated. I ate, I don't know, Oreos or something like that. And I got on stage and I ended up not placing. I would think it was because of that cheating. I was
Because
like,
of those 2 Oreos.
right.
Yeah.
And that's how I thought about
Right.
it. So I'm like, you just got to be strong-willed the whole time. Just know that once you complete this, It's
Now,
just indescribable feeling.
Now, let's say like 7 or 8 weeks into it, did you find yourself feeling a little edgier, a little angrier, colder, anything like that?
I mean, as my calories dropped, obviously you start to definitely feel it.
Right.
You're doing your cardio. I mean, little things are going to set you off because you're hungry, you're
Right.
tired. I mean, somebody could take your machine at the gym and it's going to piss you off. But
Right.
it's just, you just got to do your thing. Like,
So all that's normal feeling.
right,
So
yeah, I think it's a normal
So people
feeling.
shouldn't be worried if they start feeling like
No, I wouldn't
aggravated
be
or
worried. I mean, I don't know. It's like anything else. You just got to just keep going, keep doing it. And I mean, eventually you're going to get on stage. You're going to get after your show, you're going to be able to eat whatever you want.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you just got a strong willpower is the biggest thing, I would say.
Okay, so controlling your macros, cardio is different at a specific time every day.
Yeah.
Do your weight training, and just grind it out.
Yeah.
That's
I
really-
mean, to schedule.
right.
You're essentially just, you wake up, you have to do your cardio, you have to eat your meals every 3 hours. And
Right.
honestly, it's just repetition.
Right.
You just know you have nothing else to do aside from wake up, do your cardio, go to work, eat your meals, hit your workout, take your supplements, and get your 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
Now, talking about that the recomp kind of part of it when you do the carb up, what did you kind of look like before you did the carb up versus after the carb up?
Well, I mean, on your depletion days,
Right.
you have no pump at all.
Right.
I mean, essentially, for your calories are low, you're draining all the carbs out of your body, you're extremely depleted.
Right.
So from then you start intaking your carbs on your refeed day, and I noticed as soon as I would start putting carbs in my body, I would get extremely vascular.
Right.
I would start to look drier, like I would get tighter.
Right.
And it's crazy because I would have that 1,000 to 1,200 carbs, and I would wake up the next morning, and sometimes I would actually lose weight because of it.
You drop all the extra water.
Yeah, I
right?
would drop that extra water, and then in the morning you wake up and you're like a Greek god when you look at yourself in the mirror, just like completely full.
You stare at yourself for like half an hour.
Oh yeah. You're doing all your poses in the mirror. You know what I mean? It's just.
That's funny.
It's
Did
part
you
of the
ever try
process.
doing your carb up and keeping it a little bit drier, like doing less water during your carb up?
No, I would still always hit a gallon to a gallon and a half of water. I was just very thirsty throughout the whole prep.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I'd hit 2 gallons of water. It's just.
Okay, well, let's pretend. Okay, so now the person, the proverbial audience member, has done 12 weeks of grinding it out with all this kind of stuff. But let's say that they want to take some photos or they want to do something interesting. How did you kind of manipulate your water for the last 2 or 3 days to look the best?
Well, I mean, what usually happens in a show prep, you start drinking a lot of water. Then when it comes to
Define a lot.
like 2.5, 3 gallons sometimes,
Right.
like you're really hydrating. And
Right.
then a lot of coaches do it different. I'm not speaking for every coach. My coach may do it different than another coach, but going into it, when it's the day before the show, I had to drink gallon of water by 12 p.m.
Right.
Then I took a diuretic,
Right.
and then it was just water as needed.
Right.
Like if I had to take like my supplements, like pills, vitamins, stuff like that, just little sips as needed.
Okay.
Because I mean, you want to wake up that morning, you don't want any water. You want everything to pop
Right.
out. You want to be as dry as possible.
Okay. Any like last tips for somebody who's doing some devastating dieting program like that?
You just got to be strong-willed. Prep your food. There's nothing worse than getting home and not having your food prepped, and you have to eat a meal that might cause you to cheat because you might just grab something. So if you're doing a show prep, just go all out. I mean, have your meals ready to go. There's nothing better than getting home from the gym, going in your fridge, grabbing your meal, popping it in the microwave, and eating.
Right.
I mean, especially when you start getting those hunger pains and your calories are real low, it's a beautiful thing just to have your meals ready to go. So take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours if need be. Prep all your food, put it in the Tupperware, have it ready to go. So it's just as simple as getting home, opening the fridge, popping it in the microwave, and eating your food.
Anything strange and funny or weird happened during the prep because of the prep?
I did a lot of stupid things. Sometimes I would put I would take milk, or I would take my egg whites out of the fridge,
Mhm.
and instead of putting the egg whites back, I would put my cell phone in the fridge. I would do stuff, then I'd be running around the house freaking out,
Right.
looking for my cell phone,
Right.
but I put my cell phone in the fridge. I mean, they call that prep brain.
Yeah,
you know?
because a little, I can imagine
just
that.
stuff like that, just doing stupid little things. you just really got to focus. You know what I mean? You got a lot going on. So, but it's stuff that you laugh about once prep's over.
Okay. I mean, I want to thank you for coming in.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, James.
Guys, I mean, Paul Cavalier. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comments for any questions you might want to have that I'll reflect it back to him that we can answer. And don't forget to check out his Instagram. The link will be in the description. And thank you very much.
See you guys. Good luck if you guys are doing a prep.